Do you ever struggle to get into the right mindset to write? Maybe you find yourself procrastinating or staring at the screen waiting for inspiration to strike. Well, the truth is, waiting for inspiration doesn't work. But creating the right rituals can transform your writing sessions. And in this video, I'll give you 4 quick tips to show you how to create simple writing rituals to boost your focus, increase your productivity, and make your writing sessions more enjoyable. Let's do it. Hi, I'm Wayne Kelly, a writer, podcast host and coach. I love to help writers develop their skills and get their books and stories out into the world, which is why I created The Right Place. So, if you're ready to become a more productive writer, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more practical tips, inspiration and resources, and of course, The Right Place podcast, where I interview successful writers about their journeys and advice. Okay, rituals. Why do they even matter? Well, let's start by talking about why rituals are so powerful. Writing rituals are like a kind of warm-up for your brain. They help signal your mind that it's time to shift into a creative mode, if you like. Think of them as setting the stage for your imagination to do its thing. Now, the problem I often have, and I know many of my students and writer friends do too, is that we often have to snatch these small blocks of time to write. We're usually fitting it around our busy jobs, our families, and anything else that life decides to throw at us. And we all dream of this perfect space, loads of uninterrupted alone time to create our masterpieces, but real life is just not like that. And we need to get into the right headspace quickly and forget this idea of waiting for the perfect conditions, both in terms of what's going on inside our heads, but also in terms of our writing spaces and where we do the work. And the beauty of a ritual is that it creates consistency. So when you repeat the same actions before writing, you build a habit, and over time, writing becomes easier and less daunting. And like any habit, when you repeat it enough times, it becomes automatic and instinctive. So let me share some ideas to help you create these rituals that will work for you. So tip 1 is to create a pre-writing ritual, and it's one of the simplest ways to improve your productivity. Things in this could include things like making a cup of tea or coffee, lighting a candle, or setting up a favourite scent. That can do it for some people. You could play calming background music or ambient sounds. Maybe it's something completely different, like a bit of rigorous exercise to get those kind of neurons firing. But the goal is to choose actions that you find invigorating, soothing, enjoyable, whatever. It doesn't really matter as long as you psychologically link the activity with preparing to write. These small steps help you transition from your everyday life into a focused writing mindset. So what could your ritual look like? You might not hit it straight away, so experiment and find what works for you. My personal ritual relates to our next tip, which is using ambient sounds or music. Sound can have a huge impact on your focus. Some writers love absolute silence, but others find that ambient sounds or music can help them concentrate. Some options might be an instrumental playlist. It could be white noise or rain sounds. This is something that works for me. I use an ambient rain sounds app, free app. Or maybe it's just coffee shop background noise. Just make sure you don't get sucked into any interesting conversations if you're actually working in a coffee shop. Yes, this is something that I struggle with. But I find a good pair of headphones, noise cancelling or even better, means that I can write pretty much anywhere. And I've written some of my best scenes while my wife sits next to me watching her favourite TV programme at full volume. Just as soon as I put on those headphones and hear the ambient sounds or the right piece of music, I'm in the writing mode and nothing can distract me, and that's kind of what we're aiming for. Now, there are plenty of free apps, and obviously playlists are available to create the perfect writing atmosphere. I do vary it sometimes. I like to use instrumental film soundtracks, and if I'm doing that, then I like to maybe pick a film or a genre that suits the mood of the scene. So if I'm writing a tense thriller scene, I might go for one of Bernard Herrmann's Hitchcock soundtracks. But what about you? Let me know your go-to writing soundtrack in the comments. By the way, I've got a whole section about writing rituals and a bunch of other stuff in my Write or Die Writer's Survival Kit, which you can download for free, and the link is in the comments. Okay, tip number 3. Here's a fun and rewarding ritual. Keep a victory log. So every time you complete a writing session, note down what you accomplished. It can be really, really simple. It could be I wrote 300 words, or I finished outlining a scene. Or if colouring in is your thing, you could get creative. I've interviewed authors on the Right Place podcast who use a method that involves having a grid of empty squares, and each one represents a certain amount of words. And every time they finish a writing session, they get to colour in the amount of blocks they've completed. You can even break down an entire novel this way and get satisfaction from seeing the squares filled up with your productive efforts. And this kind of practice helps you track your progress and celebrate your wins, no matter how small. And over time, your victory log, your coloured squares, or anything else you use to celebrate your productivity becomes a source of motivation, and it's proof of how much you've achieved, because sometimes we forget. But maybe you've got your own way to celebrate success. Well, I'd love to hear about it, so drop it in the comments. Right, tip number 4. Finally, let's talk about mindset. One of the biggest obstacles for writers is perfectionism. It's that inner critic telling you it's not good enough, and it can be paralysing. But here's the truth. Your first draft doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to exist. As the saying goes, you cannot edit a blank page. So get the words down and worry about it later, because writing is rewriting anyway. We're always going to have to edit or redraft, but by getting yourself into this first draft mindset, you keep it separate from the editing process and ensure you keep moving forward with your book or story. The other surprising thing is that when you do revisit the first draft, when you get into that first structural edit, you'll be amazed to find that some of it's actually quite good. You may even wonder if it was you that wrote it at all, and I definitely find that with some of the passages I thought were terrible as I wrote them. Often they turn out to be some of my best writing. So just get your head down, write that messy first draft, and focus on progress, not perfection. Remind yourself that done is better than perfect, because you can always revise and improve later. Writing rituals like journaling or free writing, they can also help to silence that inner critic and get you into the right headspace. So there you have it, simple rituals to make you a more productive writer. 4 quick wins: develop pre-writing habits, use sound to boost focus, keep a victory log to celebrate your wins, and embrace imperfection to keep moving forward. And if you found these tips helpful, give the video a like and subscribe for more writing strategies and inspiration. And don't forget to grab your free Writer's Survival Kit if you haven't already. It's packed with exercises, tips and resources to help you stay motivated and creative. The link is in the description. I've also done a whole video on self-doubt, so why not check that out and get yourself into the best shape to smash your writing goals this year and beyond. But now it's your turn. What rituals or habits help you get into the writing zone? Share them in the comments, because I'd love to hear your ideas, and let's just keep the conversation going. See you next time on The Right Place.